Today's not necessarily a day for a full government report, but let me assure you that being in Waynesboro and Augusta County is wonderful because, first of all, it's any excuse to get out of Washington is wonderful. And let me tell you where I work right now. No matter how many challenges you've got in the Valley or on City Council or others, they are not as wacky as the people that I work with up in D.C. It's challenging times for our country. And the one promise I want to make to all you is that I am, in some small way, still trying to get a group of us in the Congress who will stop being Democrats and Republicans and be Americans first. As probably most of you all know, I've been since I've been up there, I've gotten more than a little bit crazed about the debt and deficit issues, and we are building coalitions. We had our so-called Gang of Six. We've got up to 45 senators, 100 House members, equal number of Democrats, Republicans, realizing that we've got to take on this issue. Unfortunately, we whiffed the first two times, last year and then with the super committee. But we got to get it. We got to get it fixed because the unfortunate circumstances if we don't get it fixed, and that's going to mean we're going to have to deal with our entitlement programs. It means we're going to have to change our tax code. It means we're going to have to find ways to continue to cut back on some of the spending. But the problem we've got right now is that all the cuts that we've made so far, this is going to have a rational point related back to the why. Give me 1 second. But all the cuts we've made right now have all been from the one part of the federal government that's called domestic discretionary spending. Now, what does that mean in English? That means the amount of the federal government spends on education, infrastructure, our roads, sewer, rail, energy, research and development, law enforcement, early childhood, all these things, but that's only 14 cents on every dollar that we spend. And the unfortunate problem is if you're a city council member or if you are somebody who's involved in the local community, if you keep whacking only that part of the pie, that means the dollars that help support the programs that the Y and the community needs are the first to go. Now, there's going to have to be some cuts there. Let me acknowledge. Federal government spending is way too high. But we also have to look at how we can pare back some of our defense spending. We also have to look on how we can look at our entitlement programs like Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security and make sure they're going to still exist 50 years from now. That's going to take some changes. And it is going to mean we're going to have to look at our tax code and find ways to generate more revenue. I'm not saying we've got to raise taxes, but you are going to have to look at eliminating some of the tax deductions in there right now. It's not fair that some companies are paying 35% taxes and some companies are paying 5%. So we just need to try to do some fairness, and I hope and pray that we'll be successful, regardless of who wins, becomes the next president. This issue is not going away, and it's going to take everybody, the same way people have in Virginia time and again, to put aside the politics and put the country first. So I am grateful for what you do in the Valley. I know nobody came here to hear a long pitch unless you want me to bring my whole PowerPoint presentation. I have a really cool PowerPoint presentation because I can bet you in 30 minutes, all of you, different political parties, different views, that we could come to an agreement on 95% of what needs to be done that would be rational and fair. The thing I think that folks want, there's going to be some hard choices, but it needs to be fair. Everybody's got to have some skin in the game. And the final thing I'll make on this, and then we'll go, we're going to read to the kids and we're going to see some solar stuff. But if we don't do this, you got to fire us all. Because if we don't do this, we are not doing the jobs we were hired to do. I mean, Lord knows the city council, Lord knows the state has to balance their budget. It's about time we hold that same standard to the feds as well. And you know, because we're not going to get all the other problems solved until we can get this, at least get this problem out of the way.